Hey. How you doing?
I have forgot my book.
Say again?
Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Let's see. Thank you for joining me on Bridge the Gaps of Diversity and Destroy Ignorance Before It Destroys Another Life. I want to welcome our guest. And can you please say your name?
My name is Ronnie Robles. Depending on how you know me.
Oh, you wrote.
Ro is good.
Just kidding. And then where are you from? Where do you currently reside?
I'm from the San Gabriel Valley, a little town named Baldwin Park. And now I'm still in that same area. West Covina area. Mm-hmm.
So in Southern California.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. That's hence the way you at, Ro. Is on any given day I could be, well, not with COVID, but in quarantine, but on any given day, post-quarantine, on somebody's freeway doing something beautiful and amazing, hopefully.
You are. I believe that. And then, what ethnic group do you identify as?
Human? That's a great question. So somewhere between indigenous and Latino, Chicano, Mexican. Yeah, somewhere in there.
All right. And then what's your age, if you're willing to share?
Mind your business, not my I'm 45.
All right. Thank you for introducing yourself.
Yeah.
So I know you through Back to Basics.
Mm-hmm.
One of the founding fathers of Back to Basics.
Hilarious.
I just made that up, but
it's all good. Family, love them. No, it's I love Back to Basics because it's as much as it's been a family. It's with every year, with every month, with every season, we become a closer knit family. And the beauty of that is we had all individually walked by ourselves for a very long time. Granted, we were all friends and we were all, in ministry and in the circuit, so to speak. So, familiar faces here and there, familiar faces, that kind of thing. But in our heart of hearts, as much as we had these friends and people that we could talk to from time to time, familiar faces at different events and whatnot, we all had kind of come to the resolve or the realization or the thought that if I got to do it by myself forever, Lord, I'm gonna do it by myself. And he's like, nah, I got you. Hold on. If there was ever a proving ground, you've proven yourself. So now walk with some support. Walk with like-minded people who have the same heart as you do for the people that you're walking towards. And so we get to come together. And as much as we have similar backgrounds and similar beliefs, it's a lot of our origin stories are similar, but then they're not. And so the beauty of bringing so many different worlds together with a common belief system and a common core belief system, not the math thing, but like a common core of a belief, we can then have discussion, and iron can actually sharpen iron as we begin to share our lifetimes with each other. So it's been beautiful. Like I said, we all came together for a common cause and that kind of thing. But over the years, he's like, okay, you serve the people. Now let's start working on let's work on you guys as individuals. Let's work on your hearts. Let's work on the you behind the Instagram following, behind the name, behind the whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Behind the scenes. And now we can minister to each other and know that we have a community that's going to love us regardless. So
yeah. And that's so necessary because being a creative can be pretty, it can be lonely, but it can also be kind of like maddening. Anyway, for me, it can be because I feel like a crazy scientist sometimes with all my thoughts and all my creative everything. And I know you're creative. I actually met you before I got drafted into Back to Basics. I met you and Rose at the, was it Rhetoric? Or was it Was it called Rhetoric? No.
Rhetoric was...
Before the Seed, I met you at the poetry thing.
Okay.
Is it called Rhetoric?
Yeah, Rhetoric, P4CM. Shout out to them. Yeah.
And Rose is the one that like got me plugged into the Seed, and then I met Jock, and then I got plugged into back.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's so funny that
my first memory of you was you coming to the Seed.
Yeah.
Because you were one of the Seed vendors.
It's so funny because I think it was that time at Rhetoric when we were like behind the scenes, like we were volunteering and stuff, and you had said something to somebody about like yeah in that little room, and you had said something to someone about jack of all trades, master of many, or something you had said. I don't know if that's something you live by, that you know what I'm talking about, but it was inspiring to me. You probably didn't even mean to, like, I mean, obviously it wasn't directed towards me, but I was in that atmosphere, and that helped me because I'm like super multi-passionate, and a lot of times there's a discouragement for creative people to just find one thing and like, oh, you can only do one thing. Like, you can only do graphic design, you can only do industrial design, or you can only do whatever. And it's like, actually, I know that I don't suck at all of these things, so why would I just pick one? So you said that, and that actually, I told you that really blessed me, even though it wasn't directed towards me.
No, that's super cool.
Yeah, is that I know that you do, like, you rap, you do spoken word, you do art, like visual art, murals, a lot of paintings, live paintings. What else do you do? I don't know, illustrations, book design, a lot of graphics. And so I know that you use your creativity to build community, like through your murals and stuff. Do you want to speak to that at all? Like,
I do, but first, let's go back to the Seed, because that I've forgotten that moment until you said it, and I was like, oh yeah. So the common phrase that people, the cliche is jack of all trades, master of none.
Right.
Which is kind of like a diss to the people that are well-meaning. They try to do a lot of things that don't do them well, and everything suffers. In that particular time frame, in that particular weekend, I guess. I was like, no, like you can master these things if you put your time in. You can actually do it. And like you said, some of the stuff just comes easy to us, and I know people can't figure it out, but it's actually pretty easy, without being too prideful. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, I'm built. This is okay. I'm built to do this, so I can stay. Because they always choose you pick one thing. You're like, but I want to pick 10, or pick 2. I want to do these things. It's like, no, like I choose not to limit God. You know what I'm saying? I believe that He created me. He made me this way. There's no mistake, so to speak. And saying, using it in a positive light. So it's like, no, you can absolutely do these things. So if you and I had an actual conversation, I would have told you, do them all. Do all the things. Now, granted, use time management. Granted, use self-care. Do all the precautionary things, but dive in with both feet. You know what I'm saying? Very much the Incredibles dash. Run as fast as you can and go, because if I can reach this many people with this gift, I can reach it. It gets bigger and bigger if I do these 3 things. Now you're reaching more people with different avenues, because some people might not like my rap music, or might not like my songs, or might not like my poems, or might not like my paintings. So there's the more avenues that I allow myself to flourish in, the more things I allow myself to learn, because we can easily wrestle, like, you've done well, you learned this. Or you can say, that was cool, let me learn some more. And it might not be perfect when I started, but if I can perfect it, I can keep going. And then, like I said, you get to reach more hearts, because we live in a very diverse community, a very big world, and people, you never know what people need. And I'm notorious for having too many things. I'm notorious for having too many things in my car. But there was a night one time we were driving around, and we were leaving an event, and one of my friends was going to drive out with the headlight out. Her headlight was out, or a tail light. One of the lights in the car was out, and I was like, hold on, wait, don't leave. And I went to my little glove compartment, and I gave her the light she needed. Now, who knows? Now, granted, why would I have it in my car? I happen to have it. I'd rather have what you need to give it to you then not have what you need, because that could have been, she could have driven home, got stopped by the police, and it been a whole another episode. But like I said, if I have what you need, I'm prepared to give you what you got to keep you from situations like that. So yeah, by all means, explore everything, do everything, and then as much as he's created us to be multifaceted multitaskers, it's almost like an orchestra. If you went to the Hollywood Bowl or Philharmonic or whatever, and you see all 35 people with all their instruments, and the conductor picked this thing up, said go, and everyone just made a noise. That would be noise. The beauty of an orchestra is you have all these people, all these different instruments, and this person picks it up, puts this note. This person picks up, makes this note. This, you know what I'm saying? So it's in knowing what to pick up and when that makes it beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So in all of these things that we do and we pick up, like, granted, I might go to an event and I'll paint and I'll be the host and I'll do a poem and I'll spit a little freestyle, and then I'll talk to people afterwards. Or I might just go to an event and I'll just paint, or I can do that. Using discernment to know what to pick up at one time is crucial, because nobody likes to know it. No one likes to know it all or do it all. You know, we're not trying to show off. It's one thing to share your gift. One other thing is to show off and be a jerk, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Don't be that guy or that girl. But yeah. Okay, so I forgot your question. What was it again? I'm sorry.
So you do a lot of murals, you do art, you build community. Like how does art help build community for you?
Because everyone likes to paint. People love color. People relate to color. And so, not just color, but, you know, it's just, I think, if you think above kindergarten and first grade, it was like, oh, you know, finger painting or, you know, that kind of stuff. So I do believe there's that part of it. I do also believe that if you want to go back to the caveman days, whatever, like we've all like put our hand in mud, or you go to the beach and you draw your name in the sand, or you even just put your handprint in. You're like, yeah, well, that's my handprint. I was there. Like you make a mark. So just bringing people together is I don't know. It's just normal to me. It's natural. It's one of my like lifetime desires, kind of a thing. You think of like a family at a table or a picnic. Come sit down with us. Like that's kind of the thing. I take that same feel and I bring it to a canvas. Like I can paint and you'd be like, that guy's amazing. He paints really, really well. Or I can paint something cool, then I can paint another one halfway, and I can pass you the brush. And you're like, oh, I can try. Yeah, absolutely. And now, if you mess it up, I can fix it because I got you. But if I give you, like I said, if I give you the paintbrush, then you get an opportunity to experience it yourself. You know, and it's more, and it becomes more of a look what we did together. Right. So again, like I said, in my speaking, I just said about 3 to 4 different things, 3 different scenarios, and knowing which one to do at the particular time is what it is. Because when I do live paint, oftentimes it's more of like we see it more and more now on the news, or even some concerts where someone's speaking and someone's doing sign language. But I don't do sign language. Sorry, my nieces do. But you'll see them do sign language or whatever the person's talking about. So if you can't hear their words or understand them, you can see the sign language and understand what they're saying. When I was very, very young, I would sit and draw at church all the time. I would sit and draw at school all the time. So I had a teacher, Mr. Shapiro, who would give me detentions if I didn't do my work in class. And after while he made me a deal, and he was like, I'm going to give you a sheet of drawing paper and I'm going to give you a sheet of writing paper. If you can stay on task with our work, in each assignment, when I come to your desk, you can draw on your picture. Now, if I come to your desk and you're drawing, it's amazing, but your work is not done. This third paper, which is the detention, is yours. I'm going to sign the detention. You have detention. You know what I'm saying? In the same era, or time period. Like I said, I was drawing during church, just drawing Disney characters. I just enjoyed cartoons and whatnot. And my mother looked over one day and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm taking notes." And I wasn't taking notes. So I got in trouble for lying a couple times. After a couple of weeks, she was like, "Man, look, you can't keep getting into trouble for this. Whatever the pastor says, draw that. Draw whatever he's saying." I was like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah." So okay, cool. So I would draw my little whatever, and I would draw whatever story he was telling. I would listen to the story, imagine the story, and draw the story. And then she put me together with two different mentors. One was like a ex-gangster type dude who did calligraphy and really cool lettering and built these big, huge set design stuff. So I worked with him. And then the other one was a Caucasian man who painted beautifully and did this great graphic design stuff and did a lot of hand-drawn stuff. So I sat with both of them and learned from them, and they both showed me how to take notes at church. You know what I'm saying? So I was, rather than sitting down the gift, they actually cracked the thing open even wider and said, "Okay, if you're going to use it, if you're going to do it, if God gave you the guy to do it, I want you to do it, but do it well and do it more. So this is how you use your gift for this. This is how you use it for that. This is how you take notes, and that'll make sense to you." Now, no one in their right mind would have thought that decades later I'd be on stage painting as a pastor speaks, or painting as a singer sings, or painting as a poet does their poetry. But it trained me to listen, to hear, and also to anticipate and feel what's going on in the room. So there's certain times when I'm doing live paint, I might be in the room and I feel someone's heart, someone's prayer 3 rows back. So I start weeping and I paint their prayer. I paint their whatever it is, whatever the feeling of it is. Afterwards, they come see and they're like, "How did you know?" I'm like, "I didn't." You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing, right? But then it's like there's no way you could have known. Okay, we agree. I couldn't have known that if I tried. That's what we get. Got the glory, because God knew, told it to me, said it with you. This is not for me to show off. This is for you. Take this with you as a reminder that you're not alone. Take this with you as a reminder that you weren't crazy. Take this with you as a reminder that He's with you always. Take this with you as a reminder to have hope. Put this by your bed so when you wake up and you're like, you yawn, you're like, "Oh wow, okay, I can face today." Do I get credit? I don't get credit for that, because I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm following along. You know what I'm saying? So as much as there's a gift and a talent and a skill that was learned, there's also a reliance. If you only knew, a reliance on the Father for, okay, what are we doing today? We see so many painters on Instagram that'll paint something upside down. They'll throw the paintbrush and they'll throw the bucket of paint. I love it. But they knew what they were doing when they started. You know, so I'm setting up my canvases. And people will come up, "What are you going to paint today?" And I'm like, "I have no idea."
Yeah.
"What do you mean? There's 3,000 people. There's 3,000 people here. How do you not know what you're going to paint?" I'm like, "I don't know. We're going to find out together, though." And so I literally each time, I'm sitting there, "Okay, what are we doing?" And I'm asking. So as they're doing the music or the pre worship or the pre scripture, I'm like, "Okay, what are we doing?" And I'm asking. And sometimes you kind of just got to go in faith, like terrified. Put the brush and you just like, ah. And the second it hits the canvas, it just goes. And you're like, "This is amazing. This is amazing." But when it's done, like I said, I'm amazed, the people are amazed, and then we're amazed together. That's community. You know what I'm saying? And in the larger settings, when we're doing the mural, the city comes together to beautify something that's theirs. The people come together to fix something that may have been broken. They might be a fan of the artwork but never have done it before. They might be a fan of graffiti and never done it before. So you might have to show them how to do it, or show them how to use some of the tools, or just share the tools. Just put it in a spray can in someone's hand sometimes will change their life's course forever. Like you don't even know. And even that we've done, like art therapy with graffiti cans, with spray cans. You know what I'm saying? Like even in that, we're like, if I just stuck to graffiti, if I just stuck to art, these things would not come together. If I just stuck with art therapy and didn't, you say, so all these things he's allowed me to learn over the years now come together and help more people. And then the word talks about in the last days, people will invent new ways to do evil. In that same right, we as the body of Christ can look for new ways to do good. You know what I'm saying? So putting things together that wouldn't. Now, normally graffiti and art therapy wouldn't necessarily be in the same spectrum or in the same sentence for some people, because some people still see graffiti as vandalism. Now, vandalism and graffiti are two different things. You know what I'm saying? So it's the art form is beautiful, and even learning the art form can be beautiful and can also be tied into to these other things that can heal people. Because whenever, especially when you press the little there's a release. You know what I'm saying? There's a release and even an adrenaline rush. And so in that adrenaline rush, you're a little more open to share things you wouldn't share. And so we've been down countless things where we've been able to have people express their feelings on a wall, and then have someone else like add on to that feeling or add on to that thing, and something they would never have done on a random Saturday because it's illegal. You know what I'm saying? So painting and murals and graffiti and art therapy and doing community pieces. It's become one of my life's joys because it's doing the unheard of to bring people together. Most recently, there was a couple of peaceful protests. I wouldn't even call them peaceful protests, really, in City Hall. It's funny because the week prior, we all went to the big one in Hollywood, the big one. And you're frozen right now. I'm not sure that's a thing, but I'm going to keep talking just in case we're recording. Okay, you're back. So in Hollywood and Highland, there was this huge peaceful protest, whatever you want to call it. It was like thousands and thousands of people, and we went for a little bit and we walked through the crowd, and it was beautiful because there was so many people, different faces, different colors, different ways of life, walks of life, but all I really saw was like, I have a sign, this is my face, I have a sign, I'm wearing a mask. And now granted, most of the signs we agreed with, and some of the signs touched my heart in ways that I didn't even, like, I legit cried at someone's sign. I was just like, ugh, like it hit me to the core. It was a large Mexican man with the sign that said, I was a victim as a teenager of police brutality, and I feel your pain. I was like, oh, it caught me to the core. Like, you'd expect it, but like, that was the most like, this is my story. Feel my voice, as opposed to just saying, and I agree that Black Lives Matter, and that they should be protected, and we should all have a fair shake at life, and we should all have, it should be this way. The standard that we say we live upon, and we're not living at, but it should be this way. So let's work to that. You know what I'm saying? So a week later, we do another event, and the beauty of this one was we brought art together that people can look and feel. The art translated their emotion, and brought people together. Like, people were coming, they would stare at these pieces, and they're like, this is how I feel. Like, I can't say it, I can't shout it, but this is how I feel. Thank you. I'm like, thank you. You know what I mean? Like, what do you say? You know. And then, as much as we had this great big get together, and there was chanting, and there was songs and whatever else, and there was poetry, and there was music, and it was beautiful, and I painted and stuff. While it was all happening, we took that big old group of people, maybe 20 steps down to the park, and put them in groups of 10, groups of 20, and had them talk to one another. Put your sign down, share your heart. So I put my sign down, and I say, hey, my name is Joe. Hey, my name is Celine. Hey, my name is whoever. And I'm sharing, I am this, I am that. This is my pronoun. This is my whatever. I'm sharing my heart. This is what I feel. And you realize how much, if we actually all sat down together, we actually agree on a lot of these things. And granted, like I said, there's the different parts we might disagree. But the core value, we agree on that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and then after that was all said and done, I had a couple bigger canvases, and I said, hey, come on, let's all paint together. Again, I can show my skill. Hey, that guy's cool. That was a nice moment. Or, hey, that guy's cool. He let me paint. Look what we did together. I take a picture of that, and I remember I painted that with someone that doesn't look like me. I painted with that someone that doesn't agree with me. They have a whole different lifestyle, but we did this together. Common ground. We're trying to bring a common ground, and in that space, we let our guard down a little bit because, like I said, most people haven't painted since first grade, second grade, third grade, whatever, or we colored because it was fun. So it brings you back to that space of vulnerability to a certain extent, and I would say unfortunately, but it's not an unfortunate thing. I've learned to be very comfortable with it. Me as the artist, me as the person doing it, I have to be the first person to be like, here's a brush. Do you want it? I take the first step. Do you want this brush? Are you okay with this? I must make you. I must work to make you feel welcome in the space, so that you're able to. Because people say I don't want to mess it up. You can't. All you can do is add to this. Even if you quote unquote mess it up, someone else will come back and fix it. We're working together to get this happen. And it's as much as even as I'm saying this now and I'm talking about we're painting this thing together. It really becomes a visual conversation because we could be in a large group and we could share all these things and people might be scared to share. I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to throw off the conversation. I don't want to say something that they're going to judge me for. I don't want to say something that they're going to see me differently as. And it's like, no, if you share it, you could be wild left or wild right or wild crazy, who knows. But if you put it out there, okay, we can work with that. But if you hold on to it, you gain nothing other than taking stuff in. But we didn't get to hear from you. And whether your perspective was right, wrong, or indifferent, if we get to hear your perspective and see your perspective, we can deal with that. We can talk about that. We can act. We're not scared here. We're here because we're here to talk. We're here to focus on the parts that we agree on more than the parts that we don't. And so it's been beautiful. Like I said, because to take it one step further, while we were there painting with the City Hall, LA, downtown LA. And there were folks that were disenfranchised, homeless. You know what I'm saying? Like the park is their house. You came from your nice house in your nice car to the protests, police brutality, to protest, whatever. This man lives here.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because that man that lived in the park painted amazingly well. He painted so beautiful. Like I was just like, you don't see this? You know what I'm saying? So the discarded man, the disenfranchised, not crazy. He just don't got a house, or he don't got a car. He don't got a place to stay. But this man here has worth, and he's sharing his worth, and he's painting this beautiful thing with you together. So it brings people from all walks of life together, and that's one of the biggest joys of what I get to do when we do those kind of things. So and I'm always trying to find new ways to bring folks together. Using the different gifts that he's given, because I believe that's what they've been given for. What did you do with what I gave you? Well, I made this thing, it was cool, but did you bring it back together? Well, no, I did this and they saw that one. Okay, yeah, but you were supposed to do this, and this with it. My bad. I don't want to have that conversation with God. I do, and I feel like, honestly, I feel like I do sometimes. I'm like, man, like I'm not doing enough. Not to brag, but. And even I took a break from posting on Instagram on accident. But there's so many times I'm like, I'm not doing enough. Then I go to my Instagram and I'm like, that's a lot of paintings. That's a lot of places. Like you don't realize it in the moment how much you're doing because you always want to do more. And there is a balance. There's a balance somewhere in there. But at the same time, like I'd rather err on the side of obedience. I'd rather err on the side of like, no, we're gonna make it happen than to not, because what is it called? The harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. I'd rather be a laborer that's there working. I want to be. What is it? When the Lord returns, I want to be found doing handling his business. I don't want to be found. Now, granted, I will rest. I will take naps. I will take care of my body. All of those things. And very recently, the Lord gave me a huge double scoop portion of reminder of that. So I'm thankful for the reset. But at the same time, and even as I reset things, I'd rather be on the side of doing every last thing he gave me to do. That's my heart.
Poured out life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. I don't want to miss any experience he has for me because it's tied to somebody else's life. You know what I'm saying? It's not for me to be like, oh, I did all these things. Look what I did. That's dumb. Because all those things I'm just doing things to do things.
Sure.
What's that verse that the works of man that weren't for him get burnt in the fire anyway? Like, that would suck, right? You did all these things, and you're like, yeah, none of that was me. Sorry, dude. You're like, what? That's a waste of a life. But if everything that I did that he encouraged and spoke for me to do, again, I keep going back to The Incredibles when the mom tells the kid to run. She's like, run, run, run. I'm like, I hear that in my head like every day. Son, run. I gave you feet to run. So run. Why are you not running right now? You know what I'm saying? I didn't grow up with a lot of toys, but like in the same sense of like, I gave you these toys. Why are you not playing with them? I gave you these. I gave you this so you can do this, this, and this. You know what I'm saying? The talent thing. You gave me one talent. I gave you 5 talents. So you can keep that one, and you can be the guy in the middle. You got a couple. You know what? I did this. I did that. I did my thing. No. Like, you can put these things. If you do all these things, put them together, you get more things. Yeah. And then with that, like I said, if you're paying attention and you're actively listening to what he's giving you to do, you can do so much more and get past so many roadblocks, so to speak. So many what's the word? Like I said, I've been to places where I don't speak the language, like not even kind of South Korea. Yeah. And people were like, "Hey, your painted pants are cool." Okay. And even that, like I said, I didn't know what they were talking about. But they're like, "Oh, the guy with the painted pants, whatever." To speak on South Korea again. So I went there to paint at this huge concert. It was like a full-on concert tour, 5 city. It's huge to do. And as I was leaving my house, I finished the mural at 2 a.m. Saturday night, Sunday morning. My flight was at 8 o'clock. My flight to South Korea was 8 o'clock in the morning. So I got home, took a shower like at 3 a.m, packed my bag, finished packing my bag. And as I'm leaving the house, I grabbed some face paint and I threw it in my backpack. Just what a fun is it. Maybe we'll do something with it. Mm-hmm. Every single day in Korea, I painted a face. And wow. And it was like, oh, yeah, I'll do that too. I brought it for someone else. You know what? I'm going to be painting these cool paintings. I'm going to be doing my thing. And I brought it for, someone else to paint some faces. When I tell you every day I sat with young children and I painted their faces. And when the adults saw a man being gentle and painting the face of a child and then being touched and ministered to it, they all like gathered around and they were in awe, like, you know what I mean? And no words were spoken, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? But to see the example of this man doing this thing, genuinely caring for a child in a safe space, in a public space, all that kind of thing, they marveled. Now, granted, the art was cool and the faces were cool too. We took a lot of fun pictures, but like it was that moment. That was my first day and my last day. The last day we were in this big, huge park and it was beautiful. And I wanted, me as Ronnie, I wanted to like look at these beautiful works of public art. Like, I still want to go. I'd want to go back right now, like right now. Let me go back right now to that park and just chill because there was so many beautiful works of art in this big, huge park, and there was kites in the air, and it was just like amazing. I would go right now in a heartbeat, just to that park. You know what I'm saying? But we said we had our own art display to set up, so we set up our own interactive art display. Mm-hmm. We should talk about that too. Again, didn't speak the language, but got these people to share their thoughts and put it on the door and put it on these things to make this beautiful art display of our own. Mm-hmm. And then while I was there was another prophetic live painter person. I'm like, oh, I gotta paint today. And I get to paint and God's like, put the brush down. I was like, huh? Give it to so-and-so. Here you go, kid. And I go and I sit and I paint faces and it's sunny. It's a beautiful sunny day and I'm painting faces of little boys and little girls. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I start getting cold, like really, really cold. Like, why am I this cold? To the point where like I started shivering. Now I'm painting faces and I'm shivering. Like, why am I this cold? And there's a very unflattering photo of me with a really harsh look on my face because I'm like, why am I this cold? I'm so uncomfortable. What it was there were so many adults crowding around watching me paint this child's face that they had blocked the sun And the temperature had shifted where I was sitting to where I had to go get a hoodie, put the hoodie on, and continue painting. Like you never know what he will do with your obedience if you allow him to. So I caught it in like, hey man, I came from America to do this, to do that, and the other. I'm going to paint these paintings. I'm going to be on stage. I'm going to do my thing. I would be dead wrong. You know what I'm saying?
If it was selfish,
it would have been. I would have been fully in my right to do so. I'd have been fully within the terms of my contract of being there. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like this small. It was a big to do. So it wasn't like. I would have been well within my rights to just sit there and paint. Or sit there. I did my art display. I did my paint thing. I could have just sat there and be like, hey, have someone else do that. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to, I spoke on it earlier about the orchestra thing, of learning all these things and having these things, having all these tools in your arsenal, you're well equipped. You're well equipped. But if you have all these things and you're just trying to do them or do what you want to do when you want to do it, that's desperately wrong. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like knowing what to use and when to use it. That's a whole new skill altogether. That's a whole new tool. But it's necessary because if I gave you all these things and I put you here, I want to do this. No, I want you to do this. That makes no sense, but I'll do it. Like I said, I can show you the painting I painted both days. You know what I'm saying? Because I was painting, and even that painting. The first day painting became a painting where everyone came in and added to it. And at the end of that painting, there was another disenfranchised man, a drunk homeless man in South Korea, who was there in the square watching us paint as we played music. And it's funny because I gave the paintbrush to everybody in the circle, and everyone added a heart to the circle, and no one gave him the brush. So I grabbed the paintbrush, grabbed the canvas, I walked to him, and I gave him the brush, and he was like, "Me?" I was like, "You, me, you." Yeah. And he begins to weep, and he holds me like he's like in his son, and he's known me all my life, and he writes the word love or something like that in his language on the thing. Now, granted, that's not what I asked him to do, but I'm not gonna stop him. You know what I'm saying? So me, in the moment, with this man that I would have never spoken to, never interacted. If I just did my job because I came to paint, or I came to paint faces, I'm not gonna, this is my camp. This is my work of art. Are you crazy? So this beautiful, beautiful moment with this beautiful man, you know what I'm saying, would have never happened if I wasn't listening at all times. You know what I'm saying? Because we could easily get caught up in our what we want to do, and it's like no. I need you to. I'm giving you these. I keep saying it again. I'm giving you these things because at any given moment you can use any of them, or none of them, or just one. Yeah. I need you to do this. I need you to do this. What did I say? And you're like, why would that sound silly? Why would I do that? Because for a while I had someone else taking the canvas to people, so they can put their little heart on whatever. But that moment with him and that man, the weeping man, would never have happened if I hadn't stopped what I was doing and follow and reach out. So when it comes to diversity and using your gifts to reach people that wouldn't normally be reached, it's that. You know what I'm saying? It's what's that verse? And David led them with skillfulness of hand and purity of heart, I think it is. I think I got that wrong. I gotta find it, but they go hand in hand. Be very skilled at what